All right, there's a few more hopping on. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. All right, and I'm gonna go through this really quickly. It took me forever at the retreat, so I'm gonna definitely make it a little bit more concise. But we're just gonna talk about Instagram and you as a coach and your brand. And you cannot talk about Instagram and like making this a, you know, like in boosting engagement without talking about a brand. And so I just randomly like thought of the first 3 female musicians, artists, whatever, that I could think of. And these were the 3 that popped up. These were the 3 that like, one of them's kind of in a different genre if you're asking me in my uneducated opinion. But these were like the 3 most famous I could think of as quickly as I could. Obviously one's Beyonce, obviously one's Carrie Underwood, and obviously one is Ariana Grande. So they are, if you don't know these people, I'm nervous that you wouldn't know them if I know who they are. So Beyonce, a complete and utter success in her own right. Carrie Underwood, complete and utter success in her own lane. And then Ariana Grande, complete and utter success in her own lane. Of course, Beyonce and Ariana Grande are kind of in the same realm, but still they have equal success in terms of like building their brand and who they are and all of those things. And so it's kind of good that I put those 2 together because it's like they have the same audience and people still love them equally. And so what I wanted to show you guys by showing you this is that you don't have to quit just because another coach is successful. Like what if Ariana Grande decided to not do it because there was already a Beyonce? Like there was still an equal amount of success for her waiting had she quit. Like you see what I'm saying? Like and it would have made sense too. Like, because I'm one of those people. Well, why would I do it if Carrie Underwood's already done it? I'm one of those people. That's the way I think. I think there's limited success. And that's a limiting belief that I have to overcome all the time. And so even saying this to you guys is like a breath of fresh air to me to say, yeah, like I'm very similar to a lot of other coaches out there, but there's still an equal amount of success to be had as long as I'm consistent and I go for it and I don't give up. That's truly what life is it's out, like success is out there for the people that decide not to give up. I don't know if you guys follow Brigida Linford, my up line, your up line, but she said she does a lot of reels. She's got a lot of, she loves the reels, which is a good thing, but she does a lot of reels. And one of them was about failure. You should go look at it. It's been in the last 2 or 3 days, but it's like what success looks like, you know, to you as a person is it's you hitting your head on the wall, failure, 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 failure. And then all of a sudden, oh, I'm an overnight success. Like, no, it's not. You failed your way to that a million times. But to other people, it looks like you're an overnight success because you don't talk about your failures. You just, it just when you finally hit success, that's when you talk about it. And so it was just a really good thing, like a good reminder for me. But she's really good at those. You should just go check her out just to check out her reels because they're so good. But tons of success. You just have to brand yourself. You have to get out there. You have to be consistent and brand yourself. Let's see if it lets me. Here we go. I feel like that went too far. Nope, it didn't. Okay, again, this comes from Jenna Kutcher. She is incredible at the algorithm because she's so real. Like that, if I'm going to impart anything to you guys today, it's to stop copying other people and just put on your Instagram what you want to put on your Instagram. Jenna Kutcher talks about mac and cheese all the time, and her audience has exploded because there's no one else out there talking about mac and cheese. Like it's just, and she's a photographer. Like notice that has nothing to do with her skill or what she's selling, but has everything to do with who she is. People want to connect with you based on you and not what you're selling. You have to be a person before they care about how you can help them. And I know that sounds so bizarre, but it's so true. You have to be a person to them. Even Josh, when he is out on the car lot, he will find anything he can to connect with those people on a human level before he's like talking about the Highlander they're excited about. Like his biggest one that he talks about is kids, because that's like the instant, like human, like we are on the same level. We have cleaned up other people's poop. Like that's the easiest way to connect with other people once you're a dad or once you're a mom or whatever. So he brings it up. If he sees, someone has a keychain with their kid's name on or something like that, like he will bring it up somehow just to make sure that they know like he's interested in them beyond the sale. Now they're not thinking that. They're not thinking, oh, well, like he's just like, they're not thinking that, but he wants to absolutely make sure that they know. And so it's the same thing with us. Like if I come in someone's inbox and I am really wanting to make a sale and I don't talk about like, oh my gosh, on your wedding pictures are so pretty, or, your dog is the cutest thing. What breed is that? We're kind of thinking about getting one for our boy, like whatever, like come up with something that you connect with them on a human level. In their grid, there's got to be something. Now, obviously, if it's from like 4 years ago, maybe don't bring it up. But like, if there's something in their grid of recent that you connect with, like talk to them about that. I had a girl message me a couple days ago, and I don't know who she is. And the message said, Lauren, I thought of you whenever I was scheduling this Norwex party. Would you like to be invited? And I thought, you thought of me? I don't even know who you are, but you thought of me while you were scheduling this Norwex party. Like that's a good message if you were actually thinking of someone and there's a reason why they thought that. But like, I wanted to say, like, I really wanted to come back at her. Like, you really were? What made you think of me? Like, I really wanted to nail her, but I was just like, nope, not worth my time, or her time really. So you have to make sure that you connect on a human level. So here are 3 lies that we tell ourselves that keep us from even taking the action in the first place. 1 is that your feed has to be all about business and sales. It does not. 2, the algorithm is my mortal enemy. There is no use in trying. There are many days I believe that, but that's also not true. And 3, no one actually reads my captions or cares about what I have to say. So here is the secret to overcoming the first lie, which is about selling versus just being who you are. So the first thing you need to do is to be in your pictures. Everyone who's on this call, I feel like does a really great job at being in their pictures. So I'm not going to go overboard on that, but make sure you're in your pictures, get different angles, make sure there's somewhere you're not looking at the camera every time. Don't make it a selfie every time. Don't make it a body, the beach body. I call it the beach body pose where you like get up into the camera. Those are good, but don't do them every single time. Get some where it's your backside. I know that's so weird, but no one ever sees your backside if you're on Instagram. And so it's really good to just, like Angela even posted one the other day where when you swiped, it was her looking out at like a beautiful scenery, but it was her backside. So it was like, oh, it was just a different view. It really does something to your brain where you're just like, oh, that I don't see that side of her very often. That sounds so funny to say out loud. But you get what I'm saying. Like it just does something to your brain to see a different angle of something. It makes that person that much more real. And it shows you their perspective a lot better. It just does. I know it's weird. There's probably some psychology behind it, but just trust me. Then talk about what makes you you, okay? So like with Jenna Kutcher, she's posting about mac and cheese. That's so weird. But people are like, oh, she's talking about mac and cheese. And their guard goes down because they're like, she's not going to sell me something. The minute that we talk about something fitness, they feel sold to. Not that we shouldn't talk about fitness. Do not hear that. But even with Jenna Kutcher, the minute she talks about something photography, you kind of put your guard up because you're like, oh, this is going to be a sale post. This is a sale one. And so when you talk about things that are not related to health and fitness, people can put their guard down and actually read what you have to say. So like, I mean, you don't want to do mac and cheese because that's been done. She's made that famous. You don't want to do that. But just think about things that you really love and just talk about that. For me, it's debt. I know it's so lame, but that's what, like, I love talking about getting out of debt. I love it. Like, I geek out over it. So that's something I could talk about. That's something that people can connect with me on a different level. Plus, that's also kind of one of those personal things that like nobody wants to talk about. So when you air your dirty laundry on debt and stuff, people are all up in that because then they want to compare themselves and be like, oh, well, if she could, then I could. And I thought my debt was bad. Look at her debt. You see what I'm saying? So like, it's okay to air a little bit of dirty laundry if it's not going to devastate your family, or if your family's out of the woods on that dirty laundry, if that makes sense. That's really helpful though, to like talk about really hard things you've been through, because it lets people know that they're not the only one. I saw one girl, which I could never do this because my mom and my mother-in-law follow me on Instagram. But I saw one lady talking about how she spices up her marriage sex life. And I was like, I was all in on that, you guys. Like, I was like, tell me more, because that's a need. That is a genuine need that nobody's talking about. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, I love that she had the guts to talk about this. And so think about those things for you. Like, obviously it doesn't have to be that personal, but just like things that you could talk to people about that make it so much, that make you so real to them. And that's really genuinely helpful, but also makes them feel like they're not the only like loser out there in the sea. You know what I'm saying? Because some people are so far in debt, but they don't realize other people are in debt. So they just feel like there's no hope. And that's when you get those people that are so isolated. And it's not just debt, it's, you know, miscarriages, it's divorce, it's marriage problems, it's so many things that we could talk about more, again, once we're healed-ish and out of the woods, that we can help people with. Fitness, though, you still need to talk about fitness. A good example, it was Alexis Riley has inspired me to go through my Ultimate Portion Fix videos and workbook again, and just kind of do like a refresher. And guys, there's so much content. Like, if we take that, Beachbody has basically written all of our content, no joke, on the second video of the Ultimate Portion Fix and the workbook. That's what I posted yesterday, the 3 principles to portion control. Like, that was it. If you go look at my post, you're gonna be like, oh, she did just straight up copy that with a few little of her own little flares. But I straight up copied that from the workbook, because that's what I do. That's what we follow. And that gives me good content, because if people are ever going to jump in with me, they already kind of know it because I've posted it on my feed and they are a little bit familiar with what I'm talking about. So do that. Like, even from your, like, go to the product training guides. If you're doing the 30-day breakaway, go print off that product training guide under Grow Your Business and talk about those selling points. Obviously, make them your own. Talk about why you're excited about that selling point. Don't just put in, this program will have you running. Like, don't just, you know, blurt it out, but like, talk about how you're applying that principle, or whatever that may be. Okay. The next thing, talk about your struggles, how they position you. I truly believe, I've already kind of touched on your struggles, like, so that people don't feel like they're the only one. But when you talk about, I truly believe that God gives you your struggles to bring you through it, to help you connect with other humans. Now, my belief as a Christian, like I just read this last night, my true belief is that we were created to not experience pain, ever. We were not created to experience loss, death, pain, sin, tragedy, none of it. None of it. But because of our sin, we are separated from a holy God, and we are subject to our flesh. Like, that's just where we are until the full circle of redemption takes place and we are in the new heaven and the new earth. So there's your gospel for the day. However, I do believe that in God's infinite grace and mercy and foreknowledge, he said, you know what? I'm still going to use their struggles so that they can connect with each other. I'm still going to use it. I'm still going to use their pain and their suffering as a relationship builder. Isn't that insane? Because some of my greatest relationships have come from people who have suffered the same way I have. You get that? Isn't that so cool? That, like, we're not made to suffer, but God still uses it to give us some of our greatest relationships here on earth. And even with me and Josh, like, some of the struggles we've gone through has strengthened our relationship. He still uses those things. So talk about them. Find other people that you can help. Like, in God's infinite grace and mercy, we can use the struggles that he has helped heal us from and pull us out of to help others. Like, it's still like a gospel. It's still a way to reach people for the gospel. It's still a way to reach people just for a personal relationship. So there's that. Talk about those struggles. Step number 2, or like lie number 2 that we're going to overcome, is that Instagram hates me. I say that all the time when I feel like whining, but then I have to pull myself back up and like realize that it hates everybody. So you just have to go with it. The only people it doesn't hate is Hollywood. They push Hollywood stuff all the time, but our stuff, it just does not have that kind of reach. So the goal, you have to think like Instagram and or Facebook, whichever app you're using most. You have to think like the creators, okay? Mark Zuckerberg wants people to be on Facebook 24/7. Like, he literally doesn't want you to have a life outside of Facebook. He wants you to like just be on there all the time. And same thing with, Instagram, because he also owns that now. So they want you on their platforms 24/7. So you have to be one of those accounts that's doing that. All right. So how do you get reach? And how do you keep, and here's my thing. I don't want to keep people on Instagram, but I do. If they're going to be on Instagram, I want them to be on my feed the most. Does that make sense? So what do you do to make sure that they're on Instagram? Create content, create lots of content, have fun with it. Like, you guys should be talking to your audience at least once a day about something, and it does not have to be fitness. You can talk to them about finding and how to find the most perfect right pair, but as long as you're doing it for 4 minutes, like, just get on that camera and talk to them about how you're like redoing your closet if you're watching the home edit, which I have not even seen at all yet, so I have no idea what I even said really to you guys. Or talk to them about how you used to get these DVDs and now you don't. Like, just talk to them about whatever it is, because they want to see your face, and it's a human connection. And if there's anything people need right now, it's human connection. Let's see. Oh, give people videos. Give them videos to watch. So not just your Instagram stories where you're you're editing clips or you're talking to them. Do reels. Do reels. First of all, it's really fun. My kids love doing them with me, for one thing. It's fun to do with your friends when you're bored. It's fun to do just even if you're by yourself. Just go look at some reels, get some inspiration, and go, oh, I could do that with this. And then you can figure out ways that you can like make it work for you. Like, Rachel Mitchell has a few good ones where she is like telling people like helping them through like emotional eating, just by having those little frames pop up and a song in the background that's funny and trendy and catchy. Just like little helpful things like that, where she's not selling to them in those, but they're helpful in terms of fitness. And they're shareable. You want to create shareable content. So when it comes to reels, I have been really thinking about things. I've been thinking about two things when I create a reel, which I haven't done one in a while because I've been really kind of mulling over this and researching and looking at things. When you create one, the dancing ones are fun. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a place for just a good old fun dancing reel because they're entertaining. However, if I'm just going through my explore page and I see someone dancing, I don't go to their page. Like, I enjoy it for the 15 seconds and then I swipe to the next one, and I don't go to their page. So yes, they're going to get a little bit of an engagement boost, that whoever that human was, they're going to get a little bit of an engagement boost, but I'm not going to go to their page. Now, yesterday when I was scrolling through my reels and I saw that woman's marriage tips, I went to her page. And here's why. She's good. This was good. It was very clever. She said marriage tip part 2. And I was like, oh, there's more. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to think about, how am I going to get people to realize, like, this isn't a one all be all like thing that I'm just doing because I'm some mom that wants to be on reels. Like, oh, she's got more for me, so I'm going to go to her page. Another one are like recipes. If you can get a recipe in a reel, which that's one of my goals for the day. I'm doing an apple crisp. We all got an email from Beachbody with fall recipes. There was an apple crisp in that thing, and I'm going to make it. I'm going to make that today. I'm going to try to make it a reel, because if you can make a reel out of something that is something that people can do and want to copy, they're going to go to your actual page for that. So find things that are going to take, that they're not just going to go, oh, that was fun, and then keep going. Create things that they're going to go, oh, I want to know more about that. So you could do like, I love that woman, and I don't even think she did it on purpose, because she's kind of flighty, but I don't even think she did it on purpose, where she was like marriage tips part 1, marriage tips part 2. But when you saw part 2 or part 3 floating around, you're like, I gotta know the other ones. So I had to go to her page and figure that out. And you better believe I creeped her hard. So like, do that. I don't know if it was real, but like if she did it on purpose, but do that. That was the genius idea. And you could do like parenting tips part 2, or whatever it is, like, or, you know, like even with Angela, like creating a backyard oasis part 3, like something simple that you've done here recently, that makes people are going to like go to your page and see more of that. But yes, recipes are a big one. Like you want people to think, oh, if there's this and I can do this and she's showing me something and giving me something, I bet there's more. So that's what you want from people. Or not what you want, that's what people want from you. And so you have to give them content that is going to make them want more of what you're doing. So think about that kind of stuff. Like, jot some of those ideas down right now, like write that down, because whatever's coming to your mind, you're going to forget it. I know you will, because I do the same thing. And then beating the algorithm, this is still part of step 2, but show like interest, timeliness. Apparently night is now the best time to post, because that's when people aren't really watching TV anymore. And so, or they're trying to escape from, they're trying to escape from politics, which is, you can't escape from that anymore. It's on your phone too. But they're trying to scroll and find something to take place of TV, or they've had a long day with the kids, or a long day at work, or whatever that looks like. So right now, like 7 to 8 p.m. is the best time to post. That'll probably change. So if you're watching this, you know, recording 8 years from now, don't listen to that. But right now it's 8 p.m. And then of course, relationship, blah, blah, blah. I've already kind of talked about that. Talked about all that. I have not talked about the invite. And so in terms of inviting, it says every single post right here should have some sort of call to action. That does not mean some sort of sale. And I'll show you what I mean here. Here you go. These are examples of inviting engagement. So you want engagement. And I know that's so hard. Like, you want this in your stories. You want this in your actual posts that you make on your feed. You want every single thing to have some sort of engagement, whether that's like in your stories, whether that's the slide button, the DM me button, a poll, and it can be stupid. Like on this first one, it can be, are you Chick-fil-A or Popeyes? Like, you really want to get some engagement, do a poll like that. One time for my Bible, which I'm like, every time I start talking about this, I'm like, why don't I do this stuff more? Like, I need to like start writing this in. But one time for my preset Bible study, I had to survey like 7 people. And I thought, well, why don't I survey my Instagram followers? I'll get, you know, at least something from that. And so it was just like, do you believe that Jesus and God are, have the same amount, like same level of power in terms of just overall, you know, who they are? And I got like 200 and something votes. I kid you guys not. It had nothing to do with fitness. It had nothing to do with anything on my brand, except for obviously Jesus. He's part of my brand. But I was blown away at how many votes I got. It was like 214. It was insane. So like, do stuff like that. Like, have fun with it. If you have a genuine question in your head, go make a poll for it. Like, even if it's like, do you like, which I did this, you like dark hardwood floors or light hardwood floors? What are we doing these days? Or do you put carpet in the master, or do you do hardwood with the rug? Like, if you're seriously considering something and you're having a hard time making a decision, put that crap on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, because people love to put their 2 cents in. Good Lord, I did a post on Facebook. I said, what are your favorite running shoes? That was literally the post. And it blew up. Of course, you know, and some people even got an argument over what, like, guys, come on. But seriously, like, just do things like that. If you have a genuine question, or you're seriously trying to make a buying, like you have something that you are considering purchasing. Like for me, it's a fire pit. I'm like, do I do the stone, or do I buy the one where it keeps your feet warm? What do we do? Do we go pretty? Do we go actual function? So I'm going to do a story about that today. And see what people say, because I guarantee every time I do that, people are like, let me tell you my experience. Let me tell you what happened to me. Let me tell you, like, it's so funny. That's just like, it's just how you build relationships. And then later, and here's what happens. Here's what Instagram does. Instagram says, hey, Lauren sent a message to this girl, and she replied back, and then Lauren replied back, and then this girl replied back. They must really like each other. I need to start showing this girl all of Lauren's content, and I need to start showing Lauren all this girl's content. And then that's how you get those people that are like eventually going to sign up, because you are the same people, or like you get each other in some capacity. So that's how that works. Also, tag a friend who might like blah, 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 which I totally should have done that yesterday in my post about the 3 principles that I'm following. And then follow the link in my bio, or message in the comments, DM me. That's the obvious one that many of us do, and we don't even think about these other ones. So like, I mean, even right now, like an easy poll would be, which one, I have to know where you stand. Are you a runner or are you a weightlifter? You know, like that. And then people can say, what if I'm both? Then you can be like, oh, well, let me tell you about 30-day breakaway. Or if they're like, I'm only a runner, I'm like, well, let me tell you about cross training. Like, that's where you open those doors for those conversations. And that may be it. Tell a story, make a connection, serve your people. I've said all these things over and over again. This is a big one. Write better captions. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, but don't sit there and like create these like romance novels, you know, like where it's like so many descriptives that it's like nauseating. But like, actually think about where you were when you had the thoughts you had, or actually think about where you were the first time you pushed play on your workout, or actually think about how you felt after your first run, and provide that like experience for them. Because one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to see themselves in the before, like, oh, like she felt awful and she felt alone, or she felt this way, or whatever. That's how I feel. Let me see what she did. And then they continue reading the story. Or they're going to say like there's so many ways that people can relate to that. A lot of times people are just looking for a good story. Humans are captivated by stories. And so like, I love it even like when I'm reading my children a story at night, where it's like, where I'll like get into it. I'm like, oh my goodness, and then this happened, and then this, like, we are captivated by those. And so, hang on, can I help you? That's so awesome, buddy. He has $4.05. He's saving up. So anyways, write good, enticing stories. For me, like it was genuinely on Thursday morning. I actually got up, I went to the bathroom, and I was just like, I have like a work hangover from this past week of like making sure all of the ducks were in a row for 5-star. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, Lord, was I supposed to work that hard? Like, I genuinely had this conversation. And so I was like, that's a good thing. I need to put that on Instagram. So anytime that you feel it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like you have just reached a different level of humanity, or whatever that is, with a thought that you've had, people are probably feeling that, or need to feel or hear your experience on that. I got so much feedback from that post, especially on Facebook, from people I don't know. And I didn't think it was that great. Like, I was honestly just sharing what had happened, but people resonated on such a deep level because they've had those same exact thoughts and experiences of like, gosh, should good things be this hard? And yeah, they should. That's how life works. But people really like that. Another thing too that I wanted to, and I already passed this up, but one thing that you guys do not need to do is post and ghost. And what I mean by that is, do not post something and then run away and go live your life, which is what I like to do. If I'm being very honest with you, I like to post things and then be like, shoot, got that done. Now I'm going to go look in the fridge and see if there's any food there that wasn't there 10 minutes ago. And instead, what we are supposed to do, when I was at New Leaders Conference in February, before the entire world shut down, there is a coach named Kelsey Hill, which I just recently, because they update it every Friday. So yesterday, she's number 5 in the network. Guys, I kid you not. She's the most normal, average looking and sounding and talking human in the world. Her superpower is consistency. And here's what she said she does. She will make a post, and then she says, I have a ritual. I have a ritual when I post. I will post, and then I will immediately for 10 minutes go to someone else's, like go to a feature account or find a friend of a friend or whoever, you know, however it is that you want to make friends that day. So like, I'll just give you an example for me. Like if I make a post about getting out of debt, I'm going to go to Rachel Cruz or Dave Ramsey's account, and that's where I'm going to find my people for that day. And then I'm going to just friend people that look like I jive with. If they immediately like accept me or whatever, then she will go and she will engage with them and just say, you know, like find something on their account that she really digs or whatever that looks like. Like if it's a comment, whether that's a message because they have some active stories that she can reply to and it goes straight to their inbox. Like she just finds a way to interact and engage with those people, because I do think whether or not we are going to overcome it or not, I do think Instagram is a bully. And so that is the way that you overcome the bully, is that you play the game. And that's their game, is that you make a post so that you're showing that you're out there, but then you're also interacting with other people. And she said she would literally do that. This was all last year. She would literally do that like 4 times a day, obviously not posting to her feed, but posting to stories or something. She would do that ritual 4 times a day. And that's how she grew her following. And that's how she got to, I think she's a 15-star coach now. And I kid you not, go look her up. Kelsey Hill, the most normal human. Like she's one of those people where I'm like, okay, if you can do this, I'm as normal as you are, then I can do this. And so just go check her out. She's one of my favorites to tell people to go look at. It's just Kelsey Hill. And go see what she's up to. Any questions on any of that? And no, you don't have to do a reel every single day. But when you make a reel, make it very, very engaging. Like I said, where people are going to actually go to your account or go to your, now if you're just doing a reel for fun, that's fine. That's totally fine if you just want to do a dancing reel. Like that's totally cool. Just don't expect much from that. Now your current followers will love it, and that will probably help strengthen your relationship with your current followers. But if you're trying to get new followers, create content that's helpful. Like today, like I said, I'm going to go make a apple crisp. I'm going to film that. I'm going to put the steps in there, and then I'm going to share that. And then hopefully the goal is, oh, this girl is helpful. She's giving me free things, and it's healthy, and it's relevant because it's fall. Like, let's go see what else she has. All right. Any other questions?
I have a random question.
Yeah.
What is the difference between, I mean, I did some little like Google searching, on switching from your like Instagram personal to business, like benefits versus does it really matter?
So if you want to get your insights, switch to business. Or there's a creative one, I think, like a creator account. So if you switch to either the personal or the I think it's called creator or artist or something like that. Then it will give you insights, which means that it will tell you, oh, this was your most popular post. This is how many people saw your last post, whether they liked it or not, doesn't matter, but this is how many people actually saw it. Let me see if I can, my internet is crapping out, so even my phone's not working. So I do have a business account and I never switch back just because, like Jenna Kutcher will say do a personal account. But to me, I'm like, well, okay, but you have personal assistants who know your insights and are telling you your insights. I don't have that. Mine's not pulling up. Jeez Louise. I will screenshot there. No. When it comes up, I will screenshot it and put it in our Facebook group message thread so you can see what the insights look like. But it's like not doing anything right now. But yeah, that's the difference. I think like reach wise, I don't think it does anything different. And I don't think it does anything in a negative sense either. I think the main thing is it gives you insights, and it will let you, hold on, it's letting me load now. Yeah, that's it. Okay, here's what it is. it lets you add a shop if you want to. So like, you can't see it because it's black, but right there's a little button that says add shop where I could like add my website if I want to do that, or like an Etsy site, which sounds cool and all, but I just don't know if people are actually going to use that or not. And if it's worth it. You still get to attach a link into your account no matter what. So it's up to you. Just totally up to you. Any others? Was that helpful? Good, because if not, I just wasted 38 minutes of your life, and it's fine. Okay, bye you guys.